Are we good? Okay. So the article I chose was Basking in Reflected Glory. It says it's three football field studies because they conducted three experiments. It was done by Robert Cialdini from Arizona State and Richard Gordon from Florida State. It was published in 1976, which might make it a little outdated, but it's actually one of the most important articles in fact consumer behavior. It's seen as the start of consumer behavior. It's been cited throughout the years and even recently. So the purpose of the study was to basically investigate how someone associates themselves with the success of others. So more specifically, they looked at how college students basked in the reflected glory of their football team. So the expectation was that individuals attempted to associate themselves with a successful source by announcing their affiliation with that source. So specifically, it was how the university students connected themselves with the football team, whether or not the team won or not. So they carried out three experiments. The first one looked at an undergraduate class and the clothes they wore on the Monday after the football game to try and see if there's a connection between the clothes and the outcome of that football game. So their results showed that there was more clothes identifying the individual with the school after the team won than when the team lost. So the authors concluded that this showed a desire of the individuals to emphasize this casual relationship with positive things. So they moved on to their second experiment, which was a telephone interview with 16 participants. They were first asked about their campus life at the school, and then they were either told they did well on the interview or they did bad on the interview. So that was the first manipulation. And then after that, the second manipulation was they were asked to describe a game either the team won or the team lost. And the results show that the participants talked about the victories way more than saying like we won, talking about the victories, than saying they lost when they were told that they did bad in the original interview. So this meant that they were more likely to associate with victories as opposed to losses after a negative reinforcement in their life. And the third experiment was meant to kind of double check the second experiment's validity. So they did 170 more telephone interviews. In each interview, they were asked to describe a team's victory or a team's loss from that previous season. And the results showed that nearly twice as often, when describing the victory, the participants said we won versus they lost. This reinforced experiment two, and that people associated with positive outcomes as opposed to negative. The results of the experiment showed tendencies for students to associate themselves publicly with football teams more often when they won than when they lost.